These trade tree videos are meant to be a service. Yeah, sometimes they're enormous, like we did an Eric Lindros trade tree that was over 40 minutes long. But sometimes I like the little deals you might have forgot about that make you go, oh yeah! And then you discover that it ended up not being a little deal at all. So, let's go half a decade into the past and take a look at that little deal where the Calgary Flames sent Curtis Glencross to the Washington Capitals. I love this one because these trade trees usually just start with me just surfing the internet. And I saw this trade from March 2015 where the Flames sent Curtis Glencross to the Washington Capitals, and I thought, oh, that's easy. The Flames didn't make the playoffs that year and the Capitals did. And I thought, wait a minute, 2015? No, the Flames definitely made the playoffs that year. They were an amazing team to watch. This high-octane, young, led by a young Johnny Gaudreau, comeback kid offense. And Curtis Glencross, not the biggest part of that. Don't get me wrong, he was a productive member of the Calgary Flames for a number of years, especially 2010-11 when he had 24 goals and 2011-12 when he had 26. By the 2014-15 season, however, 9 goals, 19 assists, 28 points in 53 games for the Flames. That's not nothing, but is he expendable, potentially? The Calgary Flames decided yes. So they sent him to the Washington Capitals, this perennial cup contender that just couldn't get over the hump, and they decided, Curtis Glencross, he's gonna do it. And it was very simple. You get a veteran at the trade deadline heading into the playoffs, and you give up a couple picks. The picks the Calgary Flames got were a 2015 second rounder and a 2015 third rounder. A second and a third for a guy who scored less than 30 points for you is a good haul. So there it is, very simple. Calgary Flames selling at the deadline. Except the darndest thing happened. In their final 20 games, the Flames were red hot. You see, because it's their name. They went 12-5-3 in their final 20. They head into a first round series, an all-Canadian first round series against the Vancouver Canucks, and beat them. They take on the Anaheim Ducks in the second round. Doesn't go nearly as well. The Ducks beat them in 5, but what an exciting season. What an exciting end to the season. Because the young, exciting Calgary Flames proved they could do it. They had high-octane, exciting hockey every single night. Comebacks every single night, it seemed. And they made it. And they even won a playoff round. What is not to like? Oh, and also, they got a second and a third round pick for their troubles. That's called having your cake and eating it too. Unfortunately for Curtis Glencross and the Washington Capitals, they didn't make it much further. Glencross had just 1 point. It was a goal in 10 playoff games with the Capitals, and they lost in the second round in 7 games in the overtime of the 7th game. Derek Stepan scoring for the New York Rangers. And that was it for Glencross. He never played in a regular season NHL game ever again. He signed a PTO with the Leafs, didn't end up playing with them. So now, this is the part where I tell you what happened with those picks. Here's what I noticed so much with these deals, and the Calgary Flames are no different. When teams acquire picks that do not belong to them originally, it's some other team's picks, they just throw them around like candy. It's like they're playing with house money. Ooh, I got the second round pick. How about I burn it? I'm not saying GMs try to waste picks, but when it's not your original pick, it seems like teams are more inclined to trade it. The Flames got 2 picks in this deal, and they traded both of them. First, let's start with the third. This pick was the 83rd overall pick in 2015, and the Flames packaged it with the 76th overall pick in 2015 and sent it to the Arizona Coyotes for a second rounder, which happened to be 60th overall. Now, for some of you, you might be like, oh, that's kind of boring, but for draft nerds, that's actually quite caliente. You have the 76th pick and you pay an extra third rounder to move up just 16 spots into the second round, the late second round. It's kind of expensive. If you're gonna pay to move up like that, you better get the guy you want, and the Calgary Flames did pretty well. Late in the second round, the 60th overall pick in 2018, the Calgary Flames select Oliver Kylington. With 2 seasons of playing on the blue line in Sweden's top league, Kylington had a decent amount of hype amongst certain hockey crowds, which is a polite way of saying analytics nerds, they loved him. And to date, he's been a bit of a slow burn, but so far he's played 87 NHL games on the Flames blue line. For this upcoming season, Kylington's now 23 years old, and he's looking to become a staple of the Calgary Flames defense. I'm not saying the guy's going to end up in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but that's a decent get. It's good to get anybody for what the Flames gave up. in 2015. They gave up an aging winger as sellers at a trade deadline where they ended up making the playoffs anyway. To get a regular NHL defenseman out of the deal is pretty good. So that's the more direct part of this tree. Now it's about to get nice and complicated. Because if you've been watching these trade trees for a while, you know where I can go, okay, this is direct and absolute, and this is only part of the deal. The second rounder that the Flames got from the Capitals for Curtis Glencross, it's only part of this deal, but it's still a huge one. The pick the Flames got from the Caps in this deal was the 52nd overall pick in 2015, and it was packaged with the 45th overall pick in 2015 and the 15th overall pick, a first rounder, and sent to the Boston Bruins. And not for just anybody either. You better be getting a player back for a package like that. With that first and 2 seconds, the Calgary Flames acquired Dougie Hamilton from the Boston Bruins. Big right-handed defenseman, pretty young at the time of the trade, former top 10 pick that the Bruins got from the Leafs in the Phil Kessel deal, but we're not going to talk about that. Actually, did we talk about that? Was that in an old video? Whatever, this one's about the Flames. For whatever reason, Dougie Hamilton wasn't gelling in Boston, so he goes to the Calgary Flames. And say what you want about Hamilton, but in terms of production, you know what you're getting. In 3 seasons with the Flames, Hamilton played 82, 81, and 82 games. He scored 12, 13, and 17 goals. 31, 37, and 27 assists, 43, 50, and 44 points. But there was some frustration there. The Flames make it to the playoffs just once during Dougie Hamilton's tenure. He has 1 assist in a 4-game sweep in 2017. He's an analytical darling, always has been, which means every time he makes a mistake in the defensive zone, and he wasn't perfect in that regard, people go, see? And the expectations are high because he got traded for a first in 2 seconds, man! And by the way, for Flames fans who are like, well, what's it gonna be, man? Just drop the hammer. Don't worry, the Bruins haven't bitten you too bad with those picks just yet. None of the players the Bruins got with their picks that the Flames gave them in 2015 are bad, they just haven't been mind-blowing. Jacob Forsbacka-Karlsson, who the Bruins drafted with the pick that the Flames got from the Washington Capitals, he's only played 29 NHL games, put up 9 points so far, but he's only 23. Jeremy Lauzon, another 23-year-old, he's only got 35 NHL games under his belt, but he's a defender, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Bruins over the past few years, they've had a pretty good decor. And the first rounder the Bruins got from the Flames, they used on forward Zachary Senyshyn. He was a fascinating pick. He scored 65 points in each of his final 2 OHL seasons, but he had 45 and 42 goals. The guy scored goals. The season after he was drafted, he had more than 2 goals to every assist. Since then, that touch hasn't quite been there. He's played 6 NHL games so far. He did score a goal, but in 42 games in the AHL last year, just 7. But once again, just like Lauzon, just like Forsbacka-Karlsson, just like Oliver Shillington, 23 years old. Now, continuing. Again, just like in Boston, with Calgary, there's something with Dougie Hamilton that's just not gelling. And if the rumors are to be believed, it's that he just didn't want to go to, like, the club. He just wanted to chill at the museum, apparently. And the Flames said, what? We hate museums! And they traded him or something. Dougie Hamilton was sent to the Carolina Hurricanes in a 3-player package, along with hard-hitting forward Michael Ferland and right-handed defenseman Adam Fox, in exchange for 2 guys who were picked 5th overall, Elias Lindholm and Noah Hannafin. Michael Ferland's a tough one. Injuries have made it difficult for him to stay in the lineup, and then he obviously ended up with the Vancouver Canucks. Same deal. Adam Fox, though, ooh, that hurts. He received some Calder votes this year, but it was with the New York Rangers, so it wasn't just the Calgary Flames who passed on him. Carolina wasn't able to lock him down either. So losing Adam Fox is not good, but if we're grading the trade just in terms of how Calgary did versus Carolina, I don't think it's that bad for Calgary. Who's the best player involved in that trade? I mean, it's hard to argue against Dougie Hamilton. His first full 82-game season with the Carolina Hurricanes, 18 goals. Injuries cut his 2019-20 season short, but during those 47 games that he played, he was in contention for the Norris Trophy. He had 14 goals in just 47 games from the blue line and 40 points. But expecting Noah Hannafin to shoot the lights out from the blue line, well, that's just not the player he is. And he has had a 33-point season with the Flames. He had 22 in just 70 games this past season because, you know, COVID got cut short. But he's more about the defense part of defenseman. Elias Lindholm, in his first full season with the Calgary Flames in 81 games, he had 27 goals, 78 points. Now, he only had 54 in 70 in this shortened season, but 29 of those points were goals he was going to smoke the 30-goal plateau. And not to mention both Lindholm and Hanifin, a few years younger than Hamilton as well. And for now, that's where the trade stands. This trade tree, I think, can be revisited in a few years and explode. Maybe Shillington has a big career, a long career, and then maybe he gets dealt at some point. Same goes for Hanifin, same goes for Lindholm. It could be huge. And what's funny to me about that is it starts with getting a second and a third round pick in 2015 and then making the playoffs anyway. That's some tidy work by the Calgary Flames. So, what do you think about this trade tree? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. For now, I'm Steve Dangle, and that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. You know, once everyone's allowed, you can go to the museum again. Just wear a mask.